Welcome to Odd Autos. This is Custom or Classic. So the car's unfortunately been sat in the back. Anything that's hanging around just get dumped in it. Where we rubbed the bodywork down, it's got a bit of surface rust on it. So Keith and Simon are going to dig it out. Well, I tell you what we're going to do with it. So we know the 5-cylinder engine that was going to go in it. We're going to stick it in our Mark 1 camper now, which is actually at the shop blasters at the moment. So this car, engine-wise, I want it so it can be used every day. So I want a nice, smooth engine that you can just potter around with, but then has got some power if you want to give it some. So we're going to go for probably a 2-litre Duratec running throttle bodies with a 5-speed Type 9 onto an English axle. Bodywork wise, we're going to fit a roll cage, some nice seats, good harnesses, and also we've got a genuine X-Pack body kit which we're going to fit to it. So Keith and Simon have nearly got the car out. Let's push it on the ramp and have a look at it. Hey, I timed that just right, didn't I?
That was per bloody norm.
Wow, doesn't it look a mess?
Yeah, it's not good, mate.
What do you reckon, first plan of attack?
Get all the surface rust off it.
Yeah?
Yeah, just de-ate off with a bit of 80 and then get it back to the nice shiny metal again.
Yeah, it's a shame it's obviously got a bit of damp on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that first. Simon?
Yeah, there's a few holes where they chiselled holes out in the rear shelf for speakers.
That's chewed, it's little teeth marks. It's like rat's teeth through
Twizzle.
metal, isn't it?
There's like 600 million drill holes.
That must have took them like ages.
Sorry. I couldn't hold that one.
That's the first time Simon spoke up loud. Yeah, sound. All right then, DA-ing, welding, I'll go and order some bits.
Yeah, and then after Simon's done the welding, we'll strip the
Car down, yeah.
car down and then get it on the table.
Sound.
All right, off you go again then.
Yeah, get cracking.
See you when we're done.
Right, that's it then. So that's starting to, oh no, it's just dust.
Yeah,
Let me know, is that from the welding? I don't know why I just licked that either. Let's get it up on the ramp then, strip it down. So we've noticed front chassis legs bent. So I've ordered 2, they're gonna come hopefully tomorrow. So we're gonna get it on our table and see if it's the same layout as the Mark 1.
Are they the strengthened ones you've ordered?
Yeah, the thick doodahs. So yeah, let's get it up and strip it, and then we got to, I hope you're feeling strong, we'll lift it on the table. Right, let's get the pads, let's get it up. Get it up, get it up. Right, now it's on the table. Should we get all the legs in, get it set up and see what's bent?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
See where everything is.
Right, so we've got the inner wing lined up and... Really? Sorry, I shouted then. Okay, whilst that noisy shit's out there playing on his go-kart and we're doing all the work. So we've got the inner wing on, chassis leg on. Now we've got to take them all back off and clean up where we're going to weld and then fit everything back on again, and also put the wing and the front panel on to make sure everything lines up. So let's get it done, shall we?
Get it off again then.
Get it off again. On, off, on, off. You've got the front panel there, and that gap to the wing there is sort of up here. So it's fitted rather well. You see that we've done something wrong, which, yeah. Should be right up to this sill piece, but as you can see, it's not. But we can sort it.
Well, the chassis leg and in the wing in.
Yeah, front panel off, wing off, and some weldings.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So we had to stop the video a second for some sad news. A colleague that's been with us from the start, from that first video back in 2018 that I did at home, has sadly bit the dust. RIP the Canon XF400. It's done us proud. It's the dirty camera we use in the paint booth to film Keithy spraying the cars. It's had the most abuse. It's only been dropped 10 times or something like that. And today, finally, I think it's like a filter inside. It's making everything purple. So, it needs a good burial.
Yeah.
Right, back to work. How do? Noisy. Try and do an outro. This video, we're going to be getting this front end off, so it's going to be a lot of off and on and off and on, getting everything absolutely spot on. Already we've built it up once to check obviously the inner wings are on right, they're perfect. Now it's the front panel that's playing up. Where it meets the wing here is absolutely perfect, but this side we've got about a 10mm gap. So I'm going to leave Keith and Simon to get on with it. I think it's this top lip needs redoing, or the bottom here somewhere. You know, they're the guys. I'll leave them to it. See you in a bit.
Right, Simon. Panels are on.
Most of it's fitting all right.
Yeah.
Most of it. Wing is bent.
Yeah. This is the thing of spending, you know, a lot of money on the genuine, proper manufactured wings or the cheaper wings. We've got a bad fitment there, so well, we can sort. Well, you can sort that out, can't you?
Yeah.
Sit then. Quick rub down and get the paint.
Yeah.
That's sell, mate. That's lovely. Tell you what we've got to do, what we really got to do, is put the doors on
Yeah.
before we start welding the wings and stuff as
Yeah,
well.
check the door gaps.
Yeah. That's really not good, mate.
That is fucking terrible.
If that clips underneath there, then that brings that an inch down too low.
Wow, yeah, I can get my hand down this bit, that. So this X-Pac kit is really starting to do my head in. I know it's not an original kit, but it's supposed to be molded off an original X-Pac kit, and just the shape is totally off. Nothing fits. It's going to take a lot of cutting and not bodging, but a lot of fiberglass work to get it on there. And the problem is with fiberglass is eventually it'll crack, or if you just touch the front end, it's just going to split and fall off and ruin the car. So we got it dead level, haven't we?
Yeah. It fits in these air ducts here.
Yeah.
So that's bang in the middle. That's lovely there.
And that's in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got, so where this comes round for the arch, I've got just over 3-inch gap, you know, from the arch to the end of the...
Yeah, well, I can tell straight away. I've got 1.5 inches.
Yeah, so this shape
Is wrong.
is just totally wrong. This doesn't fit right. This like pulls in this side and not that side.
Yeah, so we'd have to cut that and remold it. We ain't got the time.
It's just going to crack in it.
Yeah.
We've already cut loads of bits off it and spent hours trying to get it working, and it's just not working.
Yeah, there's always that.
Oh, what can we do? Thinking about it, up on the shelf, I bought a couple of years ago a forest
Oh, the forest
arch kit, you know, the one with the flat
Yeah,
top
yeah.
and the little chin spoiler.
Try that.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Right, let's whip this off and bang an arch on, see what it's like, yeah? The only problem is I've cut 2 big holes out as well.
Yeah. Simon!
Oh, it looks better already. Bit of
fettling.
It'll look mint. How do?
Yeah, it's going to be easier, isn't it?
Yeah. Just the job, mate. Much better than that other crap.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer them, but...
Yeah, I prefer the X-Pack. It's just that...
It's crap.
If you...
X-crap.
Yeah, it's cheap eBay stuff again. So, right, let's get fitting. And there we go, have a look at that. Took like 2 hours to fit, much better than that X-Pack kit. I know the X-Pack kit would have looked the dog's danglies, but the kit we got was absolute. So I think it was option A on the video all those years ago to make it look like this. So I think a nice set of 13-inch or 15-inch mini lights, slam it to the ground, it's gonna look mint. So next up, Keith and Simon's going to make a start on the rear tubs.
Yeah, rear tubs, for real. So first job is drill out all the spot welds and then cut it off the rear quarter. Once we've cut it, a couple of bangs, and it's out. Now see how big the new arch is, so we can fit some nice big chunky wheels on it. And then the next job is getting the grinder out and doing all the cutting and the sparks.
Are you going to be welding?
Might be. Are you going to be painting?
Might be.
Right, okay. Tubs in.
It's all cut out.
Yeah. Are we going to push it up, get it level,
Yeah, push it, get it level, tack it on where it is.
and then tack round?
Yeah, and then we can start trimming the excess off and get it all tacked on. And then we can get it fully welded.
Bang the weld up. Weld?
Weld?
Bang the wheel arch on.
Yeah.
Right, tubs in, mate. Arch is on and drilled. Let's slap her on.
Okay, what we've been doing in the last week, we have found an engine. The whole reason I'm doing a 2-litre Duratec, to be honest, is my brother had a Ford Galaxy with a 2-litre Duratec in. Does about 9 miles to the gallon. I mean, it's like a tiny petrol engine in a 2.5 ton car. The engine itself is mint. The rest of the car is absolutely hanging. It's full of dents. It's got different coloured panels on it, and it was on its last legs. Plus, he was always moaning about the fuel consumption. So I've given him one of my cars. He's got a nice now 56 plate Fiat Panda 4x4, which he is enjoying, and we got the engine out of the Galaxy. Get the table over, get all the legs out, and Keith and Simon, big strong boys, lift it straight onto the ramp, ready to start fitting our roll cage. So already I had bought a cage for this ages ago when I was going to go absolutely bonkers on it, and it's a WRC type, massive mess of pipes, and it would have just been an awful cage to use as a daily. So we're going to go for a simple rear cage, weld in. If anybody wants to extend it in the future, they can. but it's going to be a nice cage to get in and out, use as a daily, but it's still there for a bit of safety. So without further ado, let's crack on with the rest of the car. Right, let's stop messing about and crack on with this project. So we've got it on the spit now, so we can roll it on its side and finish off all the welding underneath. The underside is covered in red oxide, so all that needs wire brushing off too. Then it's down to the body shop for Keith to start his magic. So luckily, out of all the cars I bought in from South Africa, this one looked the worst, but it just basically had a real rough paint job. The underside and the bodywork is pretty straight, to be honest. I mean, most of the front's new and the door skins are new, so only a little bit of filler needed for the back quarters, and then jobs are good un. Then we get it into the booth and apply some etch. So this is yellow this time, so we can actually see where the etch is, and it's just basically a light coat all over, so any paint we put on top is gonna stick. After that, it's the high build, which is going on all the outside of the body. We don't need to put it on underneath because that's going to be stone chipped. So we get it back out and put sealer on every seam of this body. We don't want water getting in anywhere. So it's a big job, takes a while, but it's well worth doing. It just future-proofs it, and it's a way of holding back that rust. Then Keith rubs down the high build off the engine bay and seals that too. It's then back in the booth for the stone guard, underneath and on the arches. So we put this on because any stones that bounce up onto it, it's rubberized, it just bounces them back off instead of chipping the paint. Just got that little bit of flex in it. Next up, we're wet on wet primering, so we can basically put the primer on and then just put the paint over the top. So the colour that is going over the top, this gives you an idea because we mix a little bit into the wet on wet, just so the top coat covers better. Ooh, have a look at that. Makes you want to leave the whole car pink, doesn't it? And then is the colour. So what colour are we going to do this? Being custom or classic, I wanted two cars identical, but one standard and one custom. So I was thinking, why not paint them both the same colour? And then you can see the differences in it, and then people can decide which one they like better. So yeah, we're going for Venetian red again, which is the same as the 1600 Sport. So Keith puts that all over the car, all over the underside and in the arches, does a mint job all over the inside and around that roll cage, which is a right pane, and all over the engine bay. And that is the end of part one of our painting. And that's it, the car is back in here, so let's crack on. So now we got the car back into the workshop, it's time to get it up on the ramp and take it off our spit. That's it, it's getting put away, the spit is, for the final time. So high build primer is not waterproof. If water gets in there, it soaks it up like a sponge and it'll expand, basically wreck our paint. So Keith is going around the car where the arches fit, spraying it red to seal that high build in. Also, the arches we've stone chipped on the inside and already painted them red. So he sticks the arches on, both fronts, and then gets that lower chin spoiler on. Ooh, look at that pink. Lovely and primered, ready for the red paint going over the top. So me and Simon round the back, we're fitting the uprated decambered leaf springs. We've got an English axle going on with a 3J fast road limited slip diff. Also, we've got all the anti-tramp bars and all that lot just to strengthen up our rear end. So the engine is pretty much a direct fit. You can buy all the kit to fit this 2-litre Duratec now. We've got a Motorsport World Cup cross member with the ready to fit engine mounts. It goes straight up in there with its Type 9 box attached, and everything fits perfectly as it should. So wheels back on, it's back down the body shop for its final time. So Keith gets straight back on, rubbing the high build primer off the outside. Now he's got to put the doors on to make sure all the swage lines match up. So this is where he gets his tape out, puts it along the swage lines, make sure they're super crisp and straight, and then we're basically back in the booth for the final coat of red. And here we are, we're nearly ready for the most important bit of the whole build. This is where, I mean, Keith's been in the trade, what, 80 years now, and he still gets nervous before painting a car. Every car we've done so far.
Yeah, Charlie Drake's.
But we go and have a little cuddle and a chat before he sprays it, calms him down a bit. And right, let's transform this car into one shiny red modified Escort. Let's go.
Let's do it, mate.
So we jumped back onto this Mark II the beginning of September. Have a look at that. It was in a right mess. My own fault, been sat for so long. It's now the 25th of October, and this is what it looks like now. Just have a look at that. So we've got about 5 days left until the NEC. If you remember in the last video, Keith's painted it. It's back up here. We've got to smash on with it. So Omex have given me like a startup map that I've got to figure out how to program into the ECU so we can get it running. And then if we've got enough time, we'll get it to Dave and get him to set it up properly. If not, there'll probably be another part after this, you know, where we get it rolling roaded. So all hands to the deck now. Let's smash on with this build. So we get the car up in the air, and the first thing to do is bleed the brakes. So we got the brakes on before the paint job, just got to bleed them now. And you can see we've got a nice set of 4-pot wheel woods, that should stop us well. And then on the back, we've got a rear disc conversion with Cosworth calipers. Hopefully these brakes are just the job, what we need for this car. So wheels on next. On the fronts, I went for 15x8 with 225 tyres on it, in a mini light style. And then on the back, we got 15x9 with a set of 245s on it. They are some chunky beasts. Then dropping it back down, we bought all new seals again and a new front screen, and we get all the glass in. And then it's on to building the doors up. On this one, I bought like a carbon style inner door cards, just a bit better than the old vinyl interior. I made the biggest mistake going with our new seal kit. The outer window seal, I cut about 1 inch too short, which was a pain. So then I had to order in a new set. Actually cut it to the right size this time, which was a good job because these seals ain't cheap. Then on the inside, Austin's already been and put our roof lining in just after the paint job, and also he's carpeted all the interior, and we got a nice set of bucket seats with some 4-point harnesses. Moving around to the front, fitted a new grille, new headlights and headlight bowls, and also on the front, instead of the Mark ones, only got 2 sibbies. Went for the 4 on this one. Done it look mint. So after the front's all done, moving into the engine bay, we had built a lot of it up beforehand, so it's just a case of fitting the exhaust, topping the fluids up, and that's ready to go too. Moving around to the back in the boot, we've got the fuel tank in and the fuel pump. I've fitted the battery. I've got an internal cut-off switch in the boot for like long-term storage. Also, I've fitted an extra one on the dash, just in case you need to turn it off quite quick. Then the last thing we got to do is fill it up with fuel, make sure we got no leaks, and then turn the ignition on, make sure that works, and program our ECU, which at the time I thought I had done perfectly, to be honest. Right, let's crank it and see how we get on. So this is where the first problem occurred. The fuel pump in the back was making a noise that's hard to describe. I've seen it on a film once, sounds a bit like this.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
And it was awful. It was getting red hot, and I've got no fuel coming up to the fuel rail. I got fuel coming out the tank, going down the pipe to the pump, and I got nothing coming out the pump. So we got a dodgy pump. So good news, I phoned up the supplier. It wasn't an eBay special this time. I actually paid through the nose for a proper decent pump. Told them what was happening with the car, and the pump was sounding like this. And they said, we know exactly what that is. They've got a problem with the pre-pump filter. So this sits in between the fuel tank and the pump, stops the bigger bits, you know, of dirt, if there is any in the tank, getting into the pump and damaging it. They said just unscrew this and have a look at the filter inside and see if it's very fine, and it looks like that. Basically, I mean, you can hardly blow through it. It's like a super fine, kind of like bronzy forged piece. So they said, well, next day you a new pump and a new filter. And here's the filter. So I've already had a quick look, and you can see the difference straight away. Let's have a blow for it. Yeah, it's much better. Where's the old one? So there's the old one, and there's the new one. It's almost like molded tiny balls, but the one's got smaller balls. But yeah, we've got our new pump. Got our pre-filter. I'm probably going to put this piece in the old black one because I don't really want the only blue bit on the car to be that. And then we'll have another go at starting it. So let's crack on. Turn the power back on. Let's have another go. There's the keys in my pocket. That sounds better. And it won't start again. So I went back to my programming just in case. No, still wouldn't start. Back to the programming again. No. And then one last go at the programming before I threw my laptop out the window. No, still wouldn't go. Then I realised the fuel pump turns off when I'm cranking it, and also I've got no spark on cranking. I've done something wrong with the wiring here. Right, after all that, I'd wired the ECU up to ignition live that didn't stay live while you're cranking. So basically, it worked with the ignition on, which is why I could code it, but then as soon as I cranked it, everything turned off. Brilliant. So I've got around that now. Fingers crossed. We've done a lot of cranking, so it might be flooded. That fuel pump still sounds a bit noisy, but it's all right. Let's have a go. It's not in gear, is it? No. Okay. Okay, it actually sounds all right for a Galaxy engine. Ooh. Yeah, it's running a bit rich. Well done, Omet. Let me turn it off. Ooh, smoking a bit as well from the paint and the exhaust. Well done, Omex. It's a bit rich looking at it from the back. Whew, that exhaust paint smells. Right, got to run it up a few times now and get rid of this grease that we've got on the exhaust off our hands. And then I think we're nearly done. Yes. So we're back, it's 2 days later. It's now Tuesday the 8th, which is hopefully I'll get this video out on time. One thing I noticed running up the car, the heat coming off that exhaust, because it's quite close to that inner wing, you couldn't even touch the inner wing next to it. It was getting that hot, which was no good. So I had to next day order, well, which came yesterday, some heat wrap. So I've wrapped all the exhaust up and stuck some like the, you know, that gold stick on insulation round the inner wing, round the bulkhead and down underneath, just to try and stop the panels getting hot really, because Keith, you know, he gets that little vein in his head when the paint starts getting affected by something. So that's all done now and I'm ready to show you the car. Let's go and have a look. So out of the 2 Escorts I originally imported from South Africa, this custom one looked the worst. With its terrible paint job, with its awesome exhaust sticking out the back. I mean, who doesn't love twin DTM pipes? Center exit with the little bit of mesh above it. But then looking back at it, the classic Escort was the worst. It needed so much welding. I think the only original panel on the classic one was the inner wings and the roof. Everything else had to be done. So it just shows you that when you look at a car and it looks bad, you've got to go past that and look at the bones of the car. And in this case, the custom one was actually better. Yeah, it had a bent chassis rail at the front and it needed wings and a few little bits and bobs, but overall it was a real solid car, which was good. So 2 months later, after digging it out of storage, it being covered in surface rust and looking proper sad for itself, this is what we've got now. Have a look at that. That's what 2 months hard work looks like in a car. Yeah, we've spent a lot more than the classic one on this. We've spent about £30,000 in parts. But look at that. It looks proper mint. And there we go. Our first custom, I nearly pointed to the wrong one, custom or classic is finally complete. What do you reckon? I absolutely love them both. It's funny having them next to each other. You can see that 2 years ago we used a different paint supplier. They supplied us with Venetian red from a different manufacturer. And then this supplier has supplied us this one, which is slightly more orange, which actually I prefer for the custom one. It's a nice bright red. And as always, it looks mint. So there's a lot of cars out there that I've been looking at personally. I've gone out and viewed a couple of Mark 1s and Mark 2s that look good in pictures, but when you get up close, they look like this. Where there's rust, obviously, with just wogs of filler over the top. The quarter wasn't even attached properly at the arch. There's a lot of shitters out there that are really bad. Now, my motto here is, if you've got to do it right. And that's what we've done with these two cars. We haven't patch repaired, we've cut out the complete panels and done it all properly. So I'm a bit mad. Obviously, they owe me a lot more than what I'm going to get from, like this Mark II, the classic one, to be honest, owes me about 25 grand when you look back in parts and labour. This ain't Wheeler Dealers here, where I don't work out the labour. And then this one, I think I paid 7.5 grand for the car originally. I've spent about 30,000 in parts, panels, paint, and then we got the 2 months of overhead, so this probably owes me over 60 grand. I'll be lucky to get 50. But it's the love of cars. We've got two of the best Mark II Escorts in the UK at the moment, and they're both sat in front of me, and they're both mine. Well, not for long, because this one's on the raffle. So, as always, I'll see you on the next one. Ta-da!